First of all, there's the few things that are related to multifamily that makes them such a, for me and for my brother, we love that class or that asset class for investments. The safety is number one, both from an owner or sponsor perspective and from an investor perspective. The safety of multifamilies are, bar none, one of the best out there as far as the classes of real estate, classes of investments in general. I mean, I can compare and go against the beta of multifamily investments against any other class of investments, such as equity, stocks, bonds. I mean, that's my background. So every time I get in touch with an investor and they try to talk to me about what the risk factors and the beta factors between real estate and stocks, I win that argument bar none. I mean, I love those arguments because it's not even an argument. I'm like, okay, well, this is not even a fair fight. It's like, you're bringing a knife to a gunfight. So it's
so have that argument with me right now.
Points. We'd love to know some key points. If say Pili was saying that she wants to go out there and invest in a diversified portfolio in stocks, bonds, mutual funds, as a lot of people decide to start out investing.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so the average, and these are something you can obviously fact check me on, but the average return of a like say a 20-year track in the stock market in the S&P or Dow Jones, the average return for an investor in that 20 years is going to be approaching anywhere between 10 to 12%, 13% returns. That's what average investors usually do in the stock market, and that in a stable market environment, meaning that you're going to have some ups and downs in the stock market. The same average returns for that in a multifamily setting, you would have probably turned your portfolio 3 to 4 times, but probably made close to 60% of your money, 60% returns on your money during that time. So, I mean, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure out that the difference between 15% average return and 60% average returns is a lot. Just on a return factor. It's just on the returns. Let's approach it from a safety or risk standpoint. Your beta on equities and bonds is high. It depends what you're investing in, what your appetite for, how aggressive you want to be. Your beta on equity is really high. Your beta on venture capital or private equity, if you want to be more adventurous, is going to be sky high. Your beta on makes multifamily real estate is about as low as you can get, because you're not only investing in a class that's backed by real assets. That's the first thing. It's also backed by a diversity of tenants. So you're not really investing you're investing in an asset that has, let's say, an average of 200 tenants in it. Let's say 100 tenants in it. So you take an economic hit of 10%, 15%. So you lose maybe 15% of your tenants. You still have 85% occupancy, or 80 some percent occupancy. It's not that hard to make up the other 5 or 10%, get back up to the 90% occupancy. So, you're always going to have that stream of income that is diversified by the amount of tenants that you have in your property. So returns and safety, I mean, I don't know.
Done.